Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Thank you so much for staying with us. Of course, we've been playing rock music all night, and of course, you couldn't have rock music without having a little Beastie Boys in there. So definitely had to make sure we got in there. Of course, you definitely can't have rock music without some Lenny Kravitz. So we got some of that playing in the background as well. So we appreciate everybody who stayed with us at this late hour and listened to Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J, the flagship show here on LegacyInternetRadio.com. I want to take a moment now to kind of share with you guys about some programming that we have here. Of course, Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J, the flagship show, heard here every single Monday night from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and of course going over every single week like we did tonight. But on Tuesday night, we got in live in radio with Mr. LP Steven Sykes and Mr. Sincere. We appreciate that show airing here from 7 to 9 on Legacy Internet Radio. And then on Wednesday, you got the funny comedy team of Jay Grizzy and Lissa P as they give you the Green Room version 2.0 with Jay Grizzy and Lissa P. That's every single Wednesday. Thursday night, did they just play that? The music only show, no talk, just music, that's heard here every single Thursday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Last week I played rock music. Week before that I played reggae music. You know, I've been known to play, you know, one artist, hip hop. I've been known to play, you know, all kinds of soul and music, TV themes and all kinds of stuff. So did they just play that? It makes you say, did they just play that on that show? And then on Fridays we replay the Monday Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Of course, that's preceded by a Marley mix, so we play some Bob Marley and the family music. And then Saturday, that's a music day. All day, all music. During the day, we got music. Did they just play that replays? And then at 7 o'clock, Deep House Sessions with DJ Renee Melendez plays at 7 to 9 on Saturday nights, and her tagline, movie furniture and get your baby powder on. So that's what we doing on Saturday night. So we got a lot of programming. We're 6 days a week here at Legacy Internet Radio. We appreciate everybody that listens to us. We still see you guys on MixLR hanging out with us at this late hour. We appreciate you guys. It's because of you guys that we're able to continue to run Legacy Internet Radio. But this ain't free. So we do need people to keep in mind that we do have positions open for sponsorship. Sponsorship, basically, you help us out with donations to help keep the shows running. Advertising will advertise your business, so you ain't just giving us money, but you are actually getting a service from us. So if you have any ideas on doing a show or how to do a show, definitely hit us up at legacyinternetradio@gmail.com or inbox one of us on Facebook if you know us personally, or hit us with a note on the Legacy Internet Radio fan page or one of the various fan pages for the various shows that we have. So a lot that we can do for you, and we appreciate you guys working with us and being part of what we do here. So and at this time, I'm going to kind of stop talking and let the ladies kind of get in here. We just lost Carlton Banks as we normally do at this hour, but he reminded me that he stayed later than he normally does. So Dating Pool Diva, why don't you jump in, share with us some of the things that you got going on with your endeavors, your final, I guess, your rant, your closing, or whatever it is that you want to share with the listeners. Your turn to get in.
Well, like I usually do, I want to make everybody aware of our Love Revolution on Facebook. We have interesting blogs as we did today, and I think that everybody would enjoy being a member or being part of the discussions on Facebook. Love Revolution, all you have to do is ask to join. I pretty much join everybody up and just give them, you know, guidelines of things that we want, you know, to be said or not said in the group. But for the most part, you're pretty free to say what you want as long as you're not on there talking about all kinds of vulgar stuff, you know. I also wanted to put out there the Love Revolution is usually the third Saturday of every month. So September 21st, I believe, is the third Saturday of this upcoming month. And we will be discussing relationships and overcoming problems and difficult situations in relationships. And the topic is how to overcome or how to move past a destructive relationship cycle. So That's what we're going to be talking about on the next group. We're not sure of the exact location at this time.
It ain't gonna be the last place we
It's
was at.
not going to be the last place.
Where was that place we were?
Caribbean Chef.
Caribbean Chef. That's the one on Hull Street, right across the street from Manchester Court Building in Richmond, Virginia, right next door to McDonald's.
Yeah,
apparently the staff there is not very pleasant, so we make a point of never ever patronizing that place again. What are they called again?
Caribbean Chef.
Caribbean Chef. So that's where we're not going to ever go back to.
Not myself, of course, and not my group.
You understand what I'm doing right here, right?
Yes, I do. I was afraid to do it. You did what I was afraid to do.
I mean,
so we're not going to the Caribbean Chef anymore?
No.
You're not going to Caribbean Chef on Hull Street in Richmond, Virginia, across the street from the Manchester Court Building next door to McDonald's?
Because they nasty?
They was nasty as hell.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I had some endeavors that I had to tend to out of town. Let's just say that if I had been aware of some of the things that was going on and I had been in presence, it's a good bet that we would have finished the Love Revolution date that the date that we had next door at McDonald's. We've been McDonald's next door or in the parking lot at the Manchester Court Building. Because I don't play with we bringing you money and you acting a damn fool. I don't do that.
Right.
I don't do that. So, but apparently there wasn't nobody there. As Miss Tony would say, acting a donkey. I would have acted a donkey that day. I would have acted a donkey.
I know you would have.
Yes.
And maybe it was meant for
Tony's
you not
phrase,
to be
hopefully
there.
she's listening. I shouted her out because that's her phrase. Every time she says that, it just tickles me to death. Like, acting a donkey? Like, for real? Like, translation, I would have been jackass up in there, for real. But, yeah, Data Pool Diva said, yes, I'm glad you weren't there. You would have embarrassed me. She's giving me that face.
No, they would have just been put in their place.
Yeah, you would have taken care of it. And the reason why we stayed there is because a lot of the stuff I didn't know until after the fact, so if I had known some of the things that were said, I would have been out of there. I would have been like, come on guys, let's go somewhere else. But a lot of stuff I found out afterwards. I got a tinge of a attitude, but not anything, blatant.
Well, you didn't bring all the people you said that you was going to be bringing.
Yeah, 11 instead of 12.
Yeah, so if you'd had that extra person, maybe things would have went different. But I think we made our point. We ain't got to pick on them too much. But I ain't trying to ever go to that place again. I dealt with the folks there in a different type of setting. And when we talked about this yesterday, I remember telling you that I had I had a not positive experience with them in some kind of completely different situation. But it is what it is. You live and learn. So you give folks a second chance. In this case, they got a second chance with me indirectly through you guys. I wasn't there, but they ain't never getting no more money from me. And I make sure that when people don't give you good service, you don't send people to them.
Yep.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. The co-host, one of the co-hosts of this show, is about to end the show where whatever it is you want to say. So that's why. You got anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
She is the host.
She wants to say the, but I can't say the because I still got Carlton, who I don't like. I still got Big Rube, who I ain't seen, and I still got JR, who I ain't seen. So I guess I should say the because you the only one here. You holding me down right now. Can I get across the table fist bump right next to the thyroid eye while she's giving me the thyroid eye? So anyway, what you got, girl?
Nothing much. Just thank you for everybody listening. I don't really have any rant or anything like that. Maybe not tonight. Maybe next week I'll have one. And thank you for making me your co-host.
We appreciate it. I appreciate it. And
congratulations.
Yeah, man. I don't just
see any ice cream.
I don't just willy-nilly do nice stuff for people. I think everybody should know that about me. But I like this lady. This lady supported me and supported us, and since jump. And when I was looking to have
Stop playing that violin.
She played violins on me. No, but really, she supported us from jump. So, I wanted to add a female dynamic to the crew, and I couldn't think of a better person. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, I get through my rants and my closings. I've talked long enough, so let me just get a couple of thank yous in, and then I'll get my rant, and then we get the hell out of here. I want to thank Simone. I want to thank Sid. I want to thank Joy. I want to thank Ben. I want to thank a real guy, Will, and everybody. I want to thank Brandy. And everybody, I want to thank Cass. I want to thank everybody who listened to us tonight that made their presence known. And Lil Vinny, don't forget Lil Vinny. Lil Vinny, yeah, definitely want to thank him for listening. B Randy is B Randy. I'm saying it like she has it on Facebook. Brandy is giving you some love. That's why she's saying shout out to you. So we still got Brandy.
Thank you, Brandy.
And she's still with us, Brandy. Thank you for staying with us. So let me go ahead and get out of here because I know people's like, damn, fool, would you just get to the rant? And so now it's time for me to just. It's time for me to just get to the rant. I typically end all my rants, by saying it ain't got nothing to do with the show that we just had, but every once in a while I got to do something that has something to do with the show. And tonight's one of those nights. It's a rant that I've done in the past. Long-time listeners may have heard me go here before, but this is a rant that's always relevant. And right now is no different. This past May marked the 34th anniversary of the disappearance of 6-year-old Etan Patz of New York City. And first of all, every time I say that name, I get goosebumps. And I'm not reading right now my rant. I'm actually being real, and you guys can look at my arms. Every time I say that name, I get goosebumps. Etan was about my age, growing up about 5 miles from where I grew up in Jersey City. He went missing. Parents all over the tri-state area began to reevaluate the oversight they gave their children. Latchkey kids like myself, kind of had a little bit of oversight that they didn't have before. Older siblings, maybe even a neighbor, walked them to the bus stop instead of being allowed to travel alone because the boogeyman who snatched little Etan might still be out there, and his presence was felt across the river in Jersey City, New Jersey, where I grew up, and it would be felt 850 miles away in Atlanta, Georgia. Wayne Williams. As history has guided us through the last 30 years, that name has become less and less familiar, but in the summer of 1981, most of America knew that name. That's the name of the 23-year-old black man who was convicted and sentenced to consecutive life sentences for 2 murders. 2. Let's say that again. 2 of the 31 murders of black children in Atlanta from 1979 to 1981. The Atlanta child murders gripped the nation because for 2 years, little black girls and little black boys began to disappear off the streets of Atlanta, only to be found murdered in swamps, in the woods, and dumpsters, and some even in public. And as previously stated, Wayne Williams, again, was convicted in the murders of the final 2 victims, 22-year-old Jimmy Ray Payne and 27-year-old Nathaniel Cater, both adults. And although the killing stopped and Williams is suspected in at least half of the other murders, those cases were closed and left unsolved. On July 27, 1981, a young mother let her 6-year-old son watch a small group of older boys play video games at a Sears store in Hollywood, Florida, while she walked a few aisles away to shop for a lamp. When she returned to the video game section about 7 minutes later, her son and the group of boys were gone. There were claims that a security guard threw the children out the store for bickering over the video game. Her son's name was Adam Walsh. And about 2 weeks later, Adam's severed head was found in a ravine, and the rest of his remains were never recovered. All these stories made national news while I was growing up and deeply affected me. As a boy, I could not imagine the horror these children must have felt being separated from their mommies and their daddies. Why would somebody want to harm them? Those children were me. I was a latchkey kid like Etan. I was allowed to go to the store or play outside like the kids in Atlanta, and I was sometimes left alone for a moment in the store like Adam. That could have been me. That could have been any of us. And now, as the parent of a child in that same age group, it infuriates me that we have people who prey on children and harm them and take their innocence or even kill them. So I swore that one day I would do something. So every week on this show, we profile a missing child. I've written to news stations about children that come on my radar. I've called them. I've asked them to profile our children. I reach out to people who I know live in areas where there are known open missing children cases. And sometimes, like Elizabeth Smart, there's a happy ending and they come home, but too often these babies don't come home. And this is something I'm passionate about, and I hope that my passion will influence some of you, our listeners, to do something as well. So I ask all of you to occasionally pull up missingkids.com, browse your neighborhood, pull up blackandmissinginc.com, browse your neighborhood. Elizabeth Smart and those 3 women rescued by Charles Ramsey just this year in Cleveland were all found because of the keen eyes of tipsters. So I ask again, everyone in the Richmond, Virginia area, please keep your eyes open for Alexis Murphy. There's a person in custody in relation to her disappearance, but we still do not know her fate. That's the Merc, Marcus's unrelated rant. That ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about, but you know what? It really does. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us. Everybody keep in mind that independence is key to building your legacy. I want to say peace to all the stars and all of the squares. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley, who you hear singing in the background. And you know how Steppin with Marcus J. Replayed this Friday at 7 o'clock. We'll be back here live next week with a very special guest and the return of 2 long-lost, unheard-from members, JR and Big Rude, back in studio next week. So we'll see you then. Peace.